just for the UK, where members of the public can visit our website and enter their postal code or their town or city and find their local earwax removal specialist. So if you're from the UK and you've got impacted earwax, feel free to visit www.clearwax.co.uk. We think we've got roughly about 60 specialists, but that will be expanding in the next few months. So we're hoping to have a specialist in each and every part of the UK in all the major cities and towns. So anyway, let's go back to the procedure. I've got a client here who attended with bilateral occluding earwax. This particular ear, the wax is very dry near the entrance. You can see how dry it is. There's a few cilia there, so that means we're at the entrance of the ear canal. You can see a bit of keratin, some skin that's dead, that's adhered itself to the canal wall and the earwax. The colour of the earwax is quite dark, so it's oxidised, which means it's been there for a while. With dry earwax, it's sometimes difficult to get a suction grip. To get a good suction grip, you want there to be a bit of purchase on the surface of the earwax. So with dry wax, sometimes it's quite rough and coarse, and it's therefore difficult to get a suction grip. Nonetheless, we've managed to get a big lump of wax there. And again, so it's just some wax. This is on the posterior canal wall, so the back part of the ear canal. Still quite lateral near the entrance, and the idea is let's remove the wax and the keratin off the canal wall, which then makes the rest of the procedure a lot simpler and easier. So again, just gently tugging away, getting a suction grip and lifting up. I've got another piece there. So although it's dry, quite lucky. There's no need to put any drops in. We're getting a satisfactory suction grip, enough for us to remove the wax. And I'm just trying to rotate this. There's some wax posteriorly, so just manipulating that over to the left so it can come out the ear canal entrance. So the remainder of the wax is more medial, so it's medial means closer to the eardrum, so it's further away from the entrance. Whenever we remove medial earwax, we have to be very delicate and cautious because the inner 2/3 of the ear canal is made up of a very thin layer of skin, 0.1 millimeters, that's coating bone. The outer third, the layer of skin is a lot thicker, so it's 10 times thicker actually, about 1 millimeter thick, and it's cartilage, and there's also some fatty tissue, so it's a lot more flexible, pliable. So I just managed to remove this last piece of wax off the eardrum itself. You can see there's a bit of staining there. Was tempted to remove that, but that will be for my own ego, and that's not what we want to do with earwax removal. Me removing that, if it was a bit softer and it wasn't as impacted on the eardrum, so if there was a bit of if it was bulging out a bit, that piece of wax, yeah, no problem, we get it. But that wax it's a very thin layer and it's stuck to the eardrum, and me removing that would only be for my own ego, and I risk then causing potential injury and trauma to the patient, which is not necessary. And that wax is obviously, well, causing injury and trauma to the patient is obviously not necessary in the slightest, but what I was meant to say, it's just not necessary for me to remove that wax. It wasn't going to improve the patient's symptoms at all. Just removing some dead keratin from the posterior ear canal, so the back part of the ear canal. This dead skin, it's oxidized, it's more or less ready to be peeled, and if the skin peels it quite comfortably, then we'll remove it. If it's a bit more of a fresher layer of skin that's come detached with the canal, we'll leave that. It's a lot more tricky to remove. And again, the skin, it's in the cartilage portion of the ear canal. Now we're peeling into the bony part, so it's not going to cause there's no real risk there. Apart from noise, sometimes when you vacuum dead skin, it clarinets, it's very noisy, so we've attached a fine end gauge. So a fine end gauge is an extension to the Zollner suction probe. I will endeavour in one of my upcoming videos to have some images of all the instruments on my medical trolley, so you can visualize them in their entirety, and I'll try and measure them in terms of the width, the diameter, the length, so you get an estimation of what these instruments look like and their relative size. So again, just some dry skin at the roof of the ear canal. We're not going to get all of it out. It's just getting the big flakes, and this skin will naturally shed now in any case, with the wax it's no longer in the ear. And as it sheds, so the ear is very unique. In any other part of our body, as the skin sheds, it just falls. So if we've got dead skin on our hand or our scalp, it just falls to the floor with gravity. Imagine all this dead skin doing the same in your ear canal. So if this skin just shedded and fell into your ear, we'd all have blocked ears with dead skin, which can cause, obviously, not only hearing problems, but increased risk of ear infection. So the ear canal is very unique. As that skin sheds, it naturally moves sideways and out of the ear. So it's almost like a conveyor belt. So, I assume as humans we've evolved, that's an evolutionary trait to prevent our ears getting blocked with dead skin. And as that skin sheds and migrates, it also takes with it earwax that's formed. So all the earwax glands, so there's two main glands, a ceremunous gland and sebaceous glands. So sebaceous glands are more sweaty glands, and ceremunous glands are the glands that generate more kind of the wax, and they amalgamate, they combine, and they mix with other organic compounds in the ear. So I've mentioned sweat, dead skin, cholesterols, fatty, saturated acid chains, alcohols, and all these components together combined create earwax. So, and as that skin sheds and migrates, it naturally expels all the wax with it out of the ear, in most people, about 90% of people. So this is just the opposite ear, the contralateral ear. So contralateral means the opposite ear from where we started in some respect. This earwax is dryish, but it's quite slightly sticky as well. So there is, in some parts they're dry, but there is a bit of moisture there, so it does make it a bit sticky, especially at the base where we're working at the moment. So it's easier for me to get a suction grip here, and I think I'm more or less removing this piece of wax in one large lump. Again, it's got some dry bits, but also some moisture bits. There's some remnants there. You can tell by the colour it's oxidised, it's been there for a while. And we're just going to mop up now, so just some wax on the anterior canal wall. So anterior means to the front, towards the nose, when we're looking at the ear anyway. So this is therefore the patient's right ear. And just going in with a fine angle, just going to mop up now some dead keratin and some loose wax on the canal wall. So if you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, please do feel free to subscribe to the channel. We've got almost 600 videos, so feel free to view some playlists or look back at some of my earlier videos. Also select the bell icon so you'll get notified as and when I upload new videos. And if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, feel free to subscribe, like, follow the page, leave comments, share the video. And that's the procedure done. Tympanic membrane's intact, looks healthy. So just measured all the wax together, so it's just shy of 6 centimeters, so it's 58 millimeters. And we also weighed the wax, so it's just under half a gram, so 447 milligrams. I'm kind of doing a mental leaderboard. I think the highest at the moment is 720 milligrams.